Hello, and welcome to this week's video. So Maciej sent me a few images to review for him and to play around. He said that he wants the edit to be in Lightroom. So let's see what we can do. If you want to follow Maciej, go and hit the like button or follow button on his Instagram profile. You'll have the link below. So let's start with the first image. This one is, to be honest, I was really impressed with this image. I don't know, it's something that really speaks to me, and I don't know, it's very calming, it's very effective, even though, you don't see too much, but it's the execution and her pose is amazing. I really like this first image. So, because this is an editing video as well, let's try to make it, let's say, a bit more impactful, or at least I'll try to do it. It's just my taste, right? You don't need to agree with me. First of all, what I'm going to do is try to crop the image a bit. So using the crop tool, and I think we can use, well, my friends know that I'm a sucker for 16:9 crop, so let's try to do this one as well. And I think the way I'm trying to do the image, it's 16:9 actually makes sense because it follows the same pattern. So it goes from the bottom right, fills the frame and then comes back, her head leaning forward, her arms the same, but you don't see too much of it. And the frame, what I want is basically to stop here. So this is, I think, the best approach at the moment. And it looks good. So let's hit enter and commit to this change. Another thing that we can do is to try to make this as a black and white. And usually when I'm doing this, I go and I try to see what presets Lightroom has in order for me to give me a starting point. So it's no shame in, trying a lot of presets and playing with the presets. Let's say black and white, right? We wanted black and white, so we can go with the first one and just don't commit to anything. Just browse through your presets and see which one appeals to you. So this is more cold black and white, and this is a more warm black and white. Oh, I think we can go to black and white 6 as a preset. And if you're curious on what this did, you can go and see the profile. It's Adobe Monochrome here on the right tab, but then you can go and look at the settings that it did. So I think it did a small S curve on the light areas. What else it did? It added a bit of warmth in the shadows, and that's it. So if you don't like this, let's say, warmth in her skin, you can change the color from here. So if you, let's say, if you click on it, so click and drag, you can see change the shadow color. Basically, it's a very light touch, but it's very effective, right? Now I have blending 75%. Is good. What else? What we can do here is try to see if we can remove and enable the profile correction. And you see that the profile correction went up a few touches on the exposure. So let's see, this is before and this is after, which, don't get me wrong, it's still very good. Very good. Really like it. Let's add a bit of highlight on her hair. So I wanted more highlights here. So the way you do that, let's try to add like radial gradient. Go something like this. Move it around a bit. And just add the exposure just a tiny bit. Go to highlights and go to white. And you'll see that it's going to brighten a bit this area, right? So if you want to be, have the gradient to be, more diffuse, you can bring the middle here so you can see that it doesn't impact that much. Another thing, we can right click on it. Let's see if I can manage to right click on my pen. Go on, right click, and no, it's not working. There you go. And duplicate this radiance so you don't need to create it again. And just move it around. I want more highlights around here, right? So if you want to see how that looks with and without, you have this button here which you can enable and disable. As you can see, it's just a touch, but it's very impactful. I'll do just a few more touches on her skin here, just because she has this, you know, this small bumps on the skin. So I'll zoom in. It's around 400%. Let's try and change this to 200 so we can see what we're doing. Let's up this brush and, you know, just trying to isolate a few patches here. So I think from my end, this is it. Let's see, 100%. Actually, let's fit and go full screen. And oh my God, to be honest, I don't know how well do you see this image on this YouTube. I'll try to post them. For me, this one, it's really amazing. And I'm happy that I started with this image because it gives me power to move, you know, to the other images as well and try to do the same. So this one, 10 out of 10. It's really good execution. Let's add one more radial gradient, just because I think a bit of highlight here underneath, just for the eye to catch and to latch on something, just a bit, just a tiny bit. Let's see if we up the whites only, actually, to have like the line on her left leg here to be, you know, more pronounced. So whites and a bit of highlight, that's it. And yet again we can see this is before and this is after, and that's it. Whoa, that's it. Really like this one. Let's jump to the other image. I think I've overshot my time with this image. Whoa, this one is really cool as well. The only downside that I can see to this image, is that it's a bit, it's not in focus, but it's nice. All this also has a bit of a noise. The noise is actually nice, and I think this one was shot with what was shot? EF 50mm, f1.8, ISO 320. I think this was shot with Canon 90D. Okay, let's see if we can just add a bit of, you know, touch to it. But yeah, what I want to do actually is, let's see if we can crop it again to 16:9, you know, just to give this cool look in the image. Make it like this and try to straighten the image so we have the sheet straight with our eyes, and hopefully the background will be straight as well. I want her head to be here in this. I'm trying to follow, you know, this rule of thirds and so on, but you do whatever you think is necessary for the image to look good. You don't need to go, yeah, you need to have a center here because this is the technical bit. No, if you like it, you like it. So you don't need to feel pressured to follow the rule of thirds or the spiral or whatever. This one is cool. I think we can keep it as is. And yeah, let's keep it like this. What happens if we go and add more to the exposure? If I add more to the exposure, then it's not that dramatic. Okay. But we can do another thing. We can create some sort of, you know, vignetting. So what I want to do is create like a big, let's see if this works. So create a big gradient. Something like this. Actually, I want her like this. Perfect. Then you have an option here to invert the gradient, right? So if you invert it, everything will be selected but her. So we can add more like this. Let's see if we drop the exposure, what's going to happen. I'm going to have a more dramatic image. Yes. It's now like the light is coming from and it's impacted, diffused. That's cool. Another thing we can do here is, let's see if we can bump a bit the saturation. Actually, you know what? Let's go back. Put the saturation back to 0-ish. So if you double tap on it, it goes to 0. And let's add another select subject, or actually select background. Let's see if this works. Yes, it works. Cool. And from here, what I want to do is bring the temperature up, bring the tint up or down. Let's see. So this is more cold. So let's try to balance. She is very warm at this moment. She has like very warm colors and tint, which is good. Let's see if we can bring the temperature down. You know, not too much, not to be, you know, too obvious, but just a tiny bit. Bump the saturation up or down. What do you guys think? Yeah, we can go something like, I don't want to have the separation of the colors, you know. I don't really like that thing, but also, can we make it more grit here in the back? So I want to be like very, you know, rough image. So she'll be like very, like a soft character into a rough environment kind of situation. So if we dehaze on this, it's too obvious. If we do like this, too obvious as well. So let's undo the dehaze. I like it, I like it. And what else we can do? Can we change the hue? And see how that works. Yeah. No. Okay, something like this. But what I need to do now... Actually, it looks good. It looks very, very good. Can I add another gradient? Let's see if that works, because I want a linear gradient this time from bottom to the top here, and just drop the exposure tiny bit, you know, just to focus the eye here on the center of it. And let's change the crop, because now I see that we have too much space here, too much space here. So what I want is to balance that. So it's either a 5x7 or a 4x5. Let's try this one first. Move it around if I can. Oh, it's perfect like this. Yeah, but then it's disturbing. I don't know. Let's do like this. And I know we have a bit of a shadow here, but right, so this is a 5x7, which I'm very pleased with, to be honest. Yeah, let's leave it as is. Again, very, very nice shot. Actually, now that I've seen it, I cannot unsee it. So I want to get rid of that border. Or can I make the border be my guiding? So if you take the level tool and you try to apply level, then your image is more. So now the image looks amazing. I don't know, I really like it. Let's add a bit of a shadow here on. Let's try. Why not? We are here to experiment. And you'll see my my thoughts on the image and how I address this type of edit. And of course, you can start editing, you can take a break, and you can come back, and then you'll see something else that you want to edit. But, you know, for the sake of it. So I think, yeah, something like this. Let's put minus 0.4. I don't want to be, yeah. This is good. Really like it. Okay, let's leave it as is, because this is amazing. We have two images. We have this one, and we have this one as well. So this is a more close-up image. And again, very good execution. I really like it. So let's try this one first. And I'll start with, again, with a crop. So I'll try to do, can we do a 1-to-1 on this one? Like a very cropped, or let's make sure we have the right line. Let's try at least this one. Perfect. Okay, so I like this one. Let's hit enter. And what I want to do is isolate her and then create like a very, very black background around here. So she will be like, you know, like a rose or a flower in the darkness. So, or at least, I know, I'm not poetic, so don't judge me on that. Let's try to do this bit. First of all, let's use the functions that Lightroom has. So let's select the subject, see what is going to detect for me. Oof, I love it. Let's up the exposure. So she will be bright. Love it. Not too bright, actually. Something like this. And we'll play more with the contrast after we will add the background. So for this, you can do two things. It's either you duplicate this. So you right click, duplicate and invert mask. And this is going to give you an inverted mask of that. And you can go up, below. Shadows, the same. Blacks, the same. But what is going to happen, you're going to have like this hard edges here. And what we can do is click on the inverted mask. You have a plus button here and you can brush. So using the bracket keys, let's add more shadows. You see, and as I'm painting, I'm just adding more shadows to it. Something like this. And because this is a hard edge here, you can go even bigger. So let's create a bigger brush and just start clicking. Click, click, click. You know, click, drag, whatever works for you. And this is cool. If you want, you can also click on the mask and dial down the amount of it, so you can bring a bit more details. But because I don't have any details that I want to keep, you know, it's just a white sheet and background, I want to have as much, something like this. Perfect. Now looks amazing. Let's make sure that we have everything and we've done everything that we wanted. So let's go with the highlights a bit more. Shadows. Here you can see you can add shadows. Perfect. Blacks. No, let's keep it +1 here. Actually, you know what's happening, because it's like this, I'm going to have this transparency here. So let's go blacks a bit down, highlights, dial those down as well. Temperature, I think I'm okay with the temperature. I really like her skin tone. Clarity, yeah, I don't want to play too much with the clarity. Texture, the same. Let's see what dehaze is going to do. Yeah, no, I think dehaze is nice. It's going to, yeah, it's going to bring back some tones, you know, in this. Right, so let's see what else we can do here. We can click plus, select people, select the person, and when you select the person, you can have all these masks created for you. So you can select the face skin, the body, eyebrows, which is cool, eye sclera, iris and pupil, lips and hair. Create 7 masks separate, create the masks. And now I have an option to go ahead and play with everything here. So first of all, eyes. Let's go and up the exposure a bit so we can see that bright eyes of her. Of course, if it has the details in, but just a tiny bit of exposure, nothing too fancy. Now the arms, as far as I'm seeing right now, the arms are looking perfect. Hair looking good. This is the face, and you can see you have some artifacts here, but it's still a very good selection, so I don't mind just playing, you know, trying to, don't want to go like this, come on. But you just a tiny bit, you know, bring more light into her face. And that's it. Let's see the image. Whoa, printed like this on a 1:1 on a square paper is going to look nice, and also framed. And you have this grain, which I love. It's perfect. Let's go to the next image. I really cannot stay away. So let's add the quick masks, create masks. And we have all this. Basically what we can do is just up the exposure a bit. And that's it. Nothing more. You don't need to do more. Leave it as is. It's amazing. Really, really cool. Let's add the contrast. Bit of a shadow. Go up, down. It's good. Whites, blacks. Don't want to play too much. So bring more, you know, like something like this. Bring back, you know, try to compensate the exposure and bring the shadows and the blacks back into. That's it. Nothing more. What we can do, I say nothing more and then I do something else. Let's create a 4:5 crop, and that's it. Lovely. The next one. This is cool. Really like it. A bit. When you do this type of photography, you need to have a flash, or you need to have more light enabled to literally freeze her. I like that she's moving, but everything is moved in the image, to be honest. You can do like an artistic bit. You can slap a very moody black and white and start adding more lights in with the radial gradient. So let's say create something like this, and then you go use the dehaze just to bring more of, basically take the eye away from the fact that she's not very focused. But I really like the image, really like the image. So let's add another radial gradient, add it here. Again, play with the exposure, try to, create the atmosphere. Actually, the light is coming from here, so let's follow the pattern of the light. So she's going to be more in focus like this. And then we can add another one on the floor like this, but we drop the exposure. So it's either we drop the exposure like this and we create like a more shadowy image, or we go and create this type of spotlight. The image, the light is coming from the back into her like this, which this is nice as well. And then you can go and crop the image 4x5, 5x7. I think 5x7 is actually good. And I like her attitude, like, mate, she is very nice. So this is 100%. Let's see the image. Very moody. Really like it. Now, of course, if you want to bring back more of the details, you can try to see if the clarity is going to, give you what you need. Texture as well, bring more texture, bring more clarity in. But the more you push the clarity and texture, the more grittier the image will be. Right, let's go to the next one. This is a lovely portrait. This is a cool one. I wouldn't do too much on this, to be honest. Let's try just to straighten the image, so you have this to consider. So let's grab the level tool and let's try at least to have this straight. Crop it a bit. Let's use 5x7, crop it, double tap on it. And we can see that this area here on her face is a bit blown up. So the way we can do that is, and how I like to do it is, radial, proper radial gradient. Nothing too exciting. Just add it here, let's move it. Let's see if this will dial down just a tiny bit. Actually, -1 should be okay. Let's see, -1, enter. And there you go. Let's go to the next image. All right, let's see. So click on it. Let's try to remove this eyelash from her eye. Oops. So let's zoom in even more and try to really isolate this. Oop, not working. Going back. Let's try the clone thing. It's working, but it's not working. How can I say? Let's see. Content aware is working better. And again, this is trial and error, so you don't know exactly what it's going to look like. Take this off as well. Let's go 100%. Clean it a bit here. Really hate when this mascara is all over the place in an image. There you go. But okay. Cool. Cool. Let's go. Let's go and fit this. Let's see if we can do a 1-to-1 ratio and just isolate her face only. No, because she has like a very nice neck. So let's go to 5x7. Let's invert this. So to invert it, you see, you just click on a corner and you drag and you can invert it. So 5x7, something like this. Move it closer, to be something like this. That's it. The jury has said that's it. Go to the next one. Next one, it's even better, to be honest. But here I think the same. You can drop the exposure just a tiny bit. You can see if black and white is something that you really fancy. So you can more dramatic, or I really like this 05 and 06 type of black and white presets from Lightroom. Really good. And now I'm changing between 05 and 06 just to see what I like. So let's go to 05 this time. It's more light Let's crop it to, again, a 5:7, which is more than enough for us. Try to, should we put it in the center like this, or create something like this, you know, where she says you. Yes, I really like this crop. Let's use the nice function here. Don't like, I need just her eyebrows, iris and pop, and that's it. Create the masks. I want this one, bit of, you can see exposure, not too much, so she becomes like a Twilight Saga, you know, type of image. So you don't want to go like this, although nice, why not? Let's try to brighten just a bit. Highlights the same, whites the same. Let's see full screen. Yeah, no, amazing. Amazing, really like it. Amazing, amazing work, Maciej. Really like it. Here you missed focus. I think it focused on her arm here. So if you look, the focus is here, and it's a few centimeters away from her face. You can try to restore it with clarity, you know, bring more texture as well. But yeah, let's say something like this. Try to create like, it's either a moody one, so you can get away with the fact that she's not in focus, but also you took most of the elements from the image, and this is also very good. And then add a crop, 16:9, but that will cut her face. So let's see if we can do something like, you know, moody-ish type of image. We do like this. No, this time 16:9 is not going to work, so we can go 4:5, and it's either we isolate her face like this, or we can go something like, you know, prime time, or because she had that nice feather, let's try actually a vertical one. So if we go, oh come on a vertical size, something like this, we'll drop the feather, but we'll have her amazing face here. Cut the ear a bit, so let's see, cut the ear, yeah, why not? Cool, this is amazing. Let's straighten the image a bit and hit enter. Let's see. I'm loving it. It's a bit burned here on her forehead, but it's amazing. It interacts well with the light behind it, so yeah, no, nothing. It's amazing. I'll put a slideshow after this video, so you'll see all the images, and also I'm going to give the images to Maciej, and if he will post them, then I'll put a link below. If you want your images to be reviewed, please drop a message below this video and I'll get in contact for you to send me the photos. I really hope you enjoyed this video, this photo review. If you did, hit the like button and comment below with your recommendations for the images. And yeah, subscribe to my channel if you consider that this is something that you like to see in the future. Until next time, my name is Alex. Take care.